Ray J's alleged need for attention finally reached a boiling point on Thanksgiving when he was arrested for pulling out a gun in front of his children. It's long overdue to see this guy who is becoming more and more deranged finally get a little bit of slap back. Earlier this year, like a couple months ago, maybe even just several weeks ago, I was covering or attempting to cover the Love Cabin on Zeus, which is this rip-off of Love Island, and they really did not rip it off well. But one of the biggest problems I talked about with that show was Ray J being the host, because he came across as trying to do some sort of creepy Diddy impression. Love Cabin quickly turned creepy again because Ray J came off as creepy again. Ray J is by far the worst thing about this show. The end of this episode came off like Ray J was throwing his own Diddy party by making the contestants do sexual things that most of them looked uncomfortable to do, which is both a bad look for him, but just for the Zeus network in general. Not that they seem to care about their look, but if they were trying to grow a bigger fan base, they failed miserably because of Ray J's addition to that show, where he would basically be the one in charge of telling the players who they shouldn't kiss, whose dicks they should grab. It was all very odd and creepy. And to make matters worse, Ray J, who was supposed to be the host of that show, was also flirting heavily with one of the girls on that show. And then when the show premiered, he's arriving to premieres with that same girl. And shows like this, when they have a host, are supposed to be separate from the actual players in the game. Hosts should not make themselves a part of the show. They should not affect the inside of the game, because it's bad for not only the show but everyone involved in the show, especially when that host is being a creep. Hosts of shows like this can ruin shows from the outside when they become producers, like Jeff Probst of Survivor. But ruining the show from the inside is an even creepier look, and that is how Ray J came across on the Love Cabin, because he was purely being a creep, but it seemed to also be a part of the show. I don't know, maybe it fit his brand of being an attention whore. That is the excuse that people usually use for Ray J's actions. It's just that he wants attention. He had to grow up in Brandy's shadow, and this is his way of trying to get attention for himself. And he's always gone about that attention getting in the most ridiculous ways. But there comes a point when that need for attention and the way that he's trying to, act out for attention becomes problematic. And Thanksgiving with his children and his baby mama was probably that time where it went too far. What makes matters worse, and I know this is just a problem with modern society as a whole, is that he was live streaming while all of this was going down in the wee hours of the morning too. So this was all happening on live stream, which is just evidence against him when he comes on to the live stream later loading a gun, and then you can see his baby mama, Princess Love, on camera talking about how she's taking the children and basically implying he pulled a gun out. It's very awful thing to do, to pull out a gun around your children, especially if it wasn't a way to threaten their mother. And then to do this while on live stream makes you wonder what goes on behind the scenes when there's not a live stream playing. So it was an easy arrest for Ray J, who of course was able to post bond for $50,000 and walk out of his Los Angeles jail. He decided to then, of course, do another live stream after getting out of jail. He had to do it on Kick because Twitch banned him.
I just got out of jail. It's not cool. Jail was not okay, bro.
And he decided to go on a rant about his stay in jail, about how some guy was trying to whack off next to him and he wanted to beat the guy's ass.
Just arguing with this in here, jacking off in jail. It's crazy, yeah. I'm trying to survive in here, bro.
He did what?
Off in here, bro, under his bed, bro.
Oh, word. Under his bed.
It was crazy. I almost beat that under his bed, bro.
It's funny that Ray J was found that behavior awful from the jail cell when that's basically how Ray J acted as host of Love Cabin. Like, you could see him look like a creeper that was off to the side, probably beating off to what was happening in that game. Princess Love has also spoken out about the incident.
I just want to say, I've been doing a really great job at protecting my peace and staying off of social media and just going to work, taking care of my kids, minding my business. I love my kids, and I would never do anything to put them in danger, including leaving them with a man who's waving a gun around. I would never do anything to put my kids' lives in danger. I'm the best mother, and I do it alone. I take my kids to school alone. I go to parent-teacher conferences alone. I put them to bed alone while you're out here running around the world terrorizing women and abusing women. What I'm not about to do is let you deflect and not take accountability for your actions, for pulling a gun out on me and my cousin's husband because I was trying to take my kids and leave your house.
And I think that is accurate in what she's saying about Ray J, that he is always not trying to take accountability for his actions. And then certain fans make an excuse for his actions as though he just wants attention, like it's just some attention horse shit, some calls for attention. And I would like this to be a learning lesson for Ray J, the whole arrest, but it's not going to be. He's going to continue to be the way that he is, unfortunately.
Because the last time I left them with you, they found you naked in a bed with a woman. And when I tried to ask you about it, you told me to f myself. So take accountability, Ray. Do better. Check yourself into rehab because you're more than drunk.
You know, his worst crime will always be the sex tape with Kim Kardashian, and that unleashing not only Kim but her entire family onto the country and society as a whole. Terrible crime from him there, honestly. We are now stuck with those people forever, it seems. But maybe this crime can be some sort of wake-up call. But I think just from Princess Love's talk about it, I think she's very accurate in the way she describes Ray J and the way he tries to deflect from this situation, talking about jail and talking about a guy in jail being a creeper when that's how he's came off this entire year. That's the irony of it all for me. Maybe he was exactly where he belonged, in a jail cell with other creepers.